2 days ago, the President of the United States stood in the Oval Office and told the American people that Iran had been, in his words, completely decimated. He said there was not a thing Iran could do to stop American air power. He said their radar was 100% annihilated. He said the United States was unstoppable as a military force. 48 hours later, Iran shot down an American F-15 Strike Eagle over its territory. One crew member has been rescued. The other is missing somewhere in the mountains of southwestern Iran, and Iran is offering a bounty for his capture. Then it got worse. An A-10 Warthog, sent to help find the missing crew member, was also struck by Iranian fire and crashed in Kuwait. 2 Black Hawk helicopters involved in the search and rescue were hit by Iranian weapons. The pilots survived. But in one single day, Iran brought down 2 American aircraft and damaged 2 more. 4 aircraft. One day. 48 hours after the president said Iran had nothing left. This is the story of what happened, and what it means for a war that is no longer going the way the White House says it is. Let us start with the jet. The F-15E Strike Eagle is one of the most capable fighter aircraft ever built. It was designed during the Cold War to fight its way to a target, destroy it, and fight its way back out. It flies with a crew of 2, a pilot and a weapons systems officer. It can operate in any weather, carry a massive payload of precision bombs, and engage enemy aircraft in air-to-air combat. In its entire history, no F-15 has ever been shot down by an enemy in air-to-air combat. Ever. The aircraft has a perfect record, stretching back to 1976. Until today. The jet that went down belongs to the 48th Fighter Wing, known as the Liberty Wing, normally based at RAF Lakenheath in eastern England. It is the largest American fighter operation in Europe. Wreckage photos verified by multiple news outlets show a partial logo reading U.S. Air Forces in Europe on a piece of the tail fin, along with the distinctive red and white striping of the 48th Wing. Iranian state media broadcast the images within hours. The aircraft was conducting a strike mission over southwestern Iran. Experts say there is not much air-to-air combat happening in this war. The F-15 was almost certainly hitting ground targets when it was struck. The exact weapon that brought it down has not been confirmed. But the fact that it was hit at all contradicts 5 weeks of Pentagon messaging that Iranian air defenses had been completely neutralized. Both crew members ejected. One was located and rescued by American Special Forces. The other has not been found. And this is where the situation turned into something far more dangerous. The crew went down over Kohgiluyeh in Boyar Ahmad province, a sparsely populated, mountainous region in southwestern Iran. This is remote, rugged terrain, the kind of landscape where a person on the ground can disappear, but also the kind where they can be trapped with no way out. Within hours of the shootdown, Iranian state television did something that has never happened before in this war. An anchor appeared on camera and directly called on Iranian civilians to search for the missing crew member. She said anyone who finds an enemy pilot should hand them over to police. A crawl at the bottom of the screen told viewers to shoot them if you see them. A regional governor issued a public plea for locals to join the hunt. A merchants association reportedly offered the equivalent of $60,000 as a reward. Iran has claimed to shoot down American aircraft before during this war, and every previous claim turned out to be false. But this time is different. This time the wreckage is real. The photos match. The rescue mission is visible on satellite imagery and social media video. CNN geolocated footage of military helicopters flying low over Khuzestan province. This is not propaganda. This is happening. And the rescue mission itself became a disaster. After the F-15 went down, the U.S. military scrambled aircraft to search for the missing crew. Among them was an A-10 Thunderbolt, better known by its nickname, the Warthog. The A-10 is a single-pilot ground attack aircraft, slow and heavily armored, designed to fly low and survive punishment. It has been one of the most reliable close air support platforms in the American arsenal for decades. The Warthog was struck by Iranian fire while searching for the downed crew. The pilot managed to nurse the damaged aircraft out of Iranian airspace and into Kuwaiti territory before ejecting. The plane crashed. The pilot survived, but the A-10 was destroyed. 2 American military aircraft lost in a single day for the first time in this war. And it was not over. 2 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters, also part of the search and rescue effort, were struck by Iranian fire. The crews suffered minor injuries, but were able to fly back to base. Iranian semi-official media later published videos claiming to show civilians firing rifles at American helicopters from the ground. Think about what that means. 5 weeks into a war that the United States has framed as total aerial dominance over Iran, Iranian forces and armed civilians on the ground are shooting at American aircraft and hitting them. Not with advanced missile systems, not with sophisticated, radar-guided weapons, with whatever they have left, and it is working. This matters for 3 reasons. Reason 1. The credibility gap just exploded. On Wednesday night, the president sat in the Oval Office and told the nation that Iran had no anti-aircraft equipment left. He said their radar was 100% destroyed. He said the U.S. was unstoppable. Defense Secretary Hegseth has repeatedly claimed total air dominance. He said Iran's missile volume was down 90% and drone capacity down 95%. Friday morning, Iran shot down an F-15. Then it hit an A-10. Then it hit 2 Black Hawks. Either the president's information was wrong, or the situation on the ground has changed dramatically. Neither option is good. American allies and adversaries alike are watching. If the United States says Iran is defeated, and Iran then shoots down the most advanced fighter in the American fleet, the message to every country watching is clear. American intelligence assessments cannot be trusted. Former Marine fighter pilot Amy McGrath told CNN she does not see an easy way out for the United States right now. She pointed out that Iran is the size of Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined. If the shootdown happened deep inside the country, sustaining a rescue operation is extremely difficult. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Because this is not the first time the United States has tried to rescue someone from Iranian territory and watched the mission fall apart. In 1980, after Iranian revolutionaries took American hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, President Jimmy Carter authorized Operation Eagle Claw, a military raid to rescue them. The mission was a catastrophe. American helicopters broke down in a desert sandstorm. A transport plane and a helicopter collided at a staging area, killing 8 service members. The mission was aborted before the rescue team ever reached Tehran. The wreckage was paraded on Iranian television. The failed rescue became a symbol of American impotence, and it destroyed Carter's presidency. Iran remembers Eagle Claw. They have never let the world forget it. And right now, with an American crew member missing in the mountains, with helicopters taking fire, with wreckage already on Iranian television, the parallels are uncomfortable. If Iran captures this crew member alive, they will have a propaganda victory that echoes 1980 all over again. Reason 2. A missing American crew member changes the politics of this war overnight. As long as the war was an air campaign with minimal American casualties, public pressure stayed manageable. 13 Americans had been killed in the war before today. That number is low for 5 weeks of active combat. The administration could argue that the campaign was working. But a missing service member is different. A missing American on the ground in enemy territory dominates the news cycle in a way that casualty numbers do not. It becomes a face, a name, a family waiting at home. It becomes a hostage story. If Iran captures the missing crew member, the entire political dynamic flips. Suddenly, Trump is not the president winning a war from the sky. He is the president with an American prisoner on Iranian television. The pressure to negotiate, to make concessions, to do whatever it takes to bring that person home, becomes overwhelming. And Iran knows this. That is exactly why they are mobilizing every civilian in the province to find the crew member before the Americans do. It is a race, and right now, nobody knows who is winning it. Reason 3. This exposes the fundamental flaw in the entire American strategy. The war with Iran was designed to be fought from the air. No ground troops, no boots on the ground, no occupation. Just airstrikes until Iran either collapses or agrees to a deal. The entire premise depends on American air power being untouchable. The F-15 shootdown proves it is not. If Iran can still bring down fighter jets 5 weeks into the campaign, after thousands of strikes on air defense systems, after the Pentagon claimed total dominance, then the air war has a ceiling. You can degrade Iranian defenses. You can destroy most of their radar. You can knock out most of their missile launchers. But you cannot eliminate every threat across a country, the size of Iran, from the sky alone. Mountainous terrain hides mobile launchers. Underground tunnels protect weapons. And as today proved, even armed civilians with rifles can threaten low-flying search and rescue aircraft in the right conditions. This is the trap the Pentagon warned about before the war started. In a country this large, with terrain this complex, air power alone cannot guarantee safety. And the moment an American goes down behind enemy lines, you need boots on the ground to get them out. Boots on the ground in a country where the population is being told to shoot on sight. And consider the timing. This happened less than a week after the Pentagon deployed 2,500 Marines and the USS Tripoli to the region. Reports say the Pentagon has been preparing for limited ground operations, including potential raids on Karg Island and coastal sites near the Strait of Hormuz. The F-15 shootdown makes every one of those plans more dangerous. If Iran can hit fast-moving jets at altitude, what happens to slow-moving helicopters carrying Marines onto a beach? Meanwhile, the war is expanding in every other direction. The same day the F-15 went down, Iran launched strikes across the Gulf. Missiles and drones hit oil, natural gas, and water desalination facilities in the UAE, wounding at least 12 people. A desalination plant on Qeshm Island was knocked out of service. The Iraqi armed group Kataib Sayyid al-Shuhada warned that if American troops used Kuwait to launch a ground invasion, it would trigger all-out war. The IRGC claimed it destroyed Amazon's cloud computing center in Bahrain, calling it the first strike against Western spy and terrorist technology companies. A U.S. Air Force AWACS surveillance plane was destroyed on the ground at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia by an Iranian strike. A kidnapped American journalist in Baghdad is believed to have been taken by an Iranian-backed militia, and Trump responded to the escalation by bombing Iran's B-1 bridge between Tehran and Karaj, killing 8 civilians who had gathered underneath it to celebrate a holiday. He posted video of the strike on social media and wrote much more to follow. He threatened to destroy Iran's bridges, then its power plants. Iran's foreign minister responded by saying striking civilian structures will not compel Iranians to surrender. The war is now 35 days old. It was supposed to be over by now. The president said 2 to 3 weeks. Iran's foreign minister said they are prepared for at least 6 months. The Strait of Hormuz is still effectively closed. Oil is above $100. Gas prices in the United States have passed $4 a gallon. Diesel has hit $5.50. Fertilizer costs are spiking during planting season. The UN Food Agency warned this week that the war could push tens of millions of people into acute hunger if it drags on. World food prices climbed to their highest level since last September. The economic bleeding is no longer theoretical. Australia is offering free public transport in 2 states because fuel costs have become unbearable for commuters. Airlines are cutting flights worldwide because jet fuel has more than doubled. Asian stock markets have lost between 5 and 14% since the war began. Global shipping routes are still rerouting around the southern tip of Africa to avoid the Persian Gulf. And the International Energy Agency has called this the biggest oil shock in history. At home, the political pressure is mounting. Lawmakers have demanded public hearings on the war's goals. Congressional briefings have produced more questions than answers. The administration still has no publicly stated plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And today's shootdown gives every critic of the war a single devastating image. American wreckage on Iranian soil, broadcast to the world, 2 days after the president said Iran had nothing left. And somewhere in the mountains of southwestern Iran, an American service member is either hiding, running, or already in Iranian hands. Armed civilians are hunting for them. Iranian troops are flooding the area. American helicopters are searching, under fire. And every hour that passes without a rescue makes the situation worse. 3 prior F-15s were already lost in this war. Not to enemy fire, to friendly fire. Kuwaiti air defenses mistakenly shot down 3 American jets in a single incident earlier in the campaign. 3 pilots killed by Allied weapons. That fact barely registered in the news cycle, because friendly fire, while tragic, does not carry the same strategic weight as an enemy shootdown. Allies make mistakes. It happens. But this is different. This was Iran doing exactly what the Pentagon said Iran could no longer do. And it raises a question the administration does not want to answer. How many more hidden air defense assets does Iran still have? The F-15 Strike Eagle costs roughly $90 million per aircraft. The A-10 that went down costs roughly $20 million. Between the 2 aircraft destroyed today, the United States just lost over $100 million in hardware. The weapons that brought them down could have cost a fraction of that. A shoulder-fired missile costs tens of thousands. A mobile radar-guided system costs a few million at most. The same cost asymmetry that made sea mines so dangerous in the Strait of Hormuz is now playing out in the skies. And consider what happens to the air campaign going forward. Every American pilot flying over Iran right now just watched a colleague get shot down over territory the Pentagon called safe. Every mission from this point on carries a different psychological weight. Pilots will fly more cautiously. They will stay higher. They will spend less time over targets. And that means less effective strikes, longer timelines, and more opportunities for Iran to move and hide its remaining assets. Iran did not need to shoot down 100 jets. It needed to shoot down one. And it just did. The president said Iran was decimated. The Pentagon said the skies were clear. Then, Iran shot down an American jet, brought down a rescue plane, and hit 2 helicopters in the span of a few hours. The wreckage is on Iranian television. The bounty is posted. The search is on. The most powerful air force in the world just learned what every military strategist already knew. You can bomb a country for 5 weeks straight. You can destroy its radar, its launchers, its navy, its command centers. You can kill its leaders, but you cannot make it stop fighting. This channel covers the wars that are changing the world right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. If you want to understand what actually happens on the battlefield before